Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. By now, most of you have seen the horrifying video of the brutal murder of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer. And while the media circus now is certainly spinning out of control, protesters are taking to the street and some even looting. Never understand the whole looting bit. And the cries for prosecution now are ringing loud. But let's ask the question, why does this keep happening? Let's ask another question. Why will it continue to keep happening? Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Well, yet again, of course, we see another brutal video, and it rings out as if it was a ghost from the past. The ghost of Eric Gardner from 2014. I can't breathe. You see a callous police officer with his knee on the neck of a man. And what's, of course, even more horrifying is that before our very eyes, you saw the life of this man literally snuffed off. But let's just think about this for a moment. Why did this police officer think this was okay? Even more disturbing, you had police officers around. You had one police officer who stood there and watched this happen. And we can ask all day long, what was going on in his head that you could possibly think that this was okay? Now, let me just say that the culture of policing is a problem. One, too much power. The fact that they think that they're above the law. And let's not forget, even at one point, President Trump even encouraged police officers. Hey, bang them up a little bit. Handle them roughly, right? By the way, that same police officer, there's a photo circling around where he's at a Trump rally. I don't believe it's the same Trump rally where Trump encouraged police officers to rough him up, because that was all cops. My point is, there is a culture, there is a mentality where cops, one, are shielded, that they could brutalize citizens. Now, they just happen to focus their brutality on African Americans mostly. Let's go back for a moment and let me tell you why we have this. First, you have the shield of the law. Most people don't realize, but all the times laws are passed where police officers that are giving police officers powers to police. And while probably the intention was good, when you put them in the hands of evil men, they become brutal. For example, if you are in a police officer's face and your spittle hits him, you could be charged with assault. And that's not a light charge. You're going to do time for that. Yet at the same time, when you look at this police officer, and it is chilling to watch. Oftentimes I dismiss when news commentators say the video we're about to show you is disturbing. In this case, it was extremely disturbing to see this knee on the neck of this man. Yet there's call for calm, right? Let's wait for the facts. And already you have maybe his police union rallying behind to say, how can we get him off? In other words, the law is designed to shield and protect cops. When a cop says, I feared for my life, do you realize that's a legal term he is speaking? Not that he's really fearful, because if he was fearful, he'd run away, right? If he's fearful, he'd call for backup. But that's a legal term. That's what they're taught. Because that's when they get in a court of law, these are the things that clear them. Of course, you continually make laws that will shield them, indemnify them against prosecution. And if you know you have that, how careless could you be when it comes to someone else's life? You see, so one of the ways and one of the things that has to change is laws. Laws has to be enacted to say, let's hold cops accountable. Let me circle back around to that in a moment. Because the other problem with policing is how cops look at certain people, and particularly African Americans. Now, a few years ago, a North Miami-Dade police officer responded to a call of a autistic man. Now, if you go back and you see the videos, what you would see is a big Hispanic-looking man, fluffy hair. He was sitting in the middle, he was sitting in the middle of a intersection holding a fire truck. Police showed up, there was a standoff. Now there was a black caregiver. Now, for whatever reason, this black caregiver, once he came on the scene, kind of realized he was in danger, even though the call was not about the black caregiver. It wasn't about him, it was about the autistic, Hispanic-looking guy sitting in the middle of an intersection. Now, of course, obviously, if you're a cop, and if you're anyone, you're going to say, there's something wrong, right, with the autistic person that he's sitting in the middle of an intersection. Now, understand, that's what the call was about. But for some reason, and thank God, right, the black man says, wait a minute, I'm in danger. And the black man was, and you can go back and you can see this video where he's laying on his back on the street with his hands up. But for whatever reason, he thought he was in danger. Turned out to be true. He's laying on his back with his hands up, and he's yelling at the cop that he's the caregiver of this autistic person. He's trying to explain to them that this is an autistic person. Well, the cop shot the black man, right? Shot him. Now, thankfully, shot him in the leg. So he lived. But when the black man asked him, why did you shoot me? The cops go, I don't know. Now, this was North Miami-Dade, the city of North Miami-Dade. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. Because this is one of these times where we can give an answer. Or at least we can point to it. A year before, North Miami-Dade was in the news because they were using black mugshots for target practice. In other words, they were shooting at black pictures of mugshots. Now think about this. Black mugshots, a year later, they shoot this black man who had nothing to do with the call. What am I saying? It's a condition. That conditioning, by the way, speaks to a broader racial issue in our nation. From its start, how people process, how they see black people. Go back to this cop that was kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Now the call was for a forgery, or I think passing a $20 bill, or a fake $20 bill. Not a violent crime. She'd arrested him right and took him on. But why did this man feel that when he was kneeling on the neck of a human being, I'll tell you what, my opinion, he didn't see a human being. There are some white people that still wrestle with racial issues. This goes all the way back to the DNA of our nation. The problem with this is that how they see black people. And when you put these people in office, you give them a badge, you give them a gun, and now they can carry out that, and by the way, within the law, most of the time. They can shoot most of the time. Because this is how they see. Now here's my point. I don't care about what that man thinks. I don't care if he's a racist. I don't care, whatever. I don't care about that. Because you know what? If he's going to change, he's going to change. And there are white people that do change. There are people that change their view over time. They see that, hey, the way I was raised as a bigot, as a racist, that's just not true. But to the others, I don't care. Here's what needs to happen. Laws need to change. Laws need to be passed to hold cops accountable, so when you see stuff like this, that a man can sit there for 9 minutes and with his knee on a person's neck. In any circumstances, this will not be acceptable, right? And what do you know is interesting? Think about most of the white mass shooters. Most of them, the ones who don't take their lives, after they have committed mass murders, schools, factories, places of business. Do you know most of them are taken into custody peacefully? And that's after the cops know that these people commit murder. They know that these cops shoot armed, and they are armed, which means they're dangerous. They just committed mass murder. And yet they're taken into custody peacefully. Floyd George was killed literally before our eyes. Think about this. Literally before our eyes. Because this man kept his knee on his neck. Laws need to be changed because you know what? As it stands now, there is a very good chance that officer can get off. Now the Minneapolis police department fired him. But he can still get off. And guess what? When they fire him, guess what happens? He probably can go get another job at another suburb. They need to make laws to where, you know what? Not only will we fire you, we're going to take away your pensions. You're going to do jail time. And if you start doing that, they're going to think twice about just killing unarmed people, innocent people. That's my perspective. And don't forget to like and share this video. And please subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you thought or comment, add it in the comment section below. Till next time, I'll see you then.